Hi YouTubers, family, and friends. This is Virtue from Gypsy Rollin'. I was initially to do this channel and give you what my purpose was, but things got a little out of control. First, Gypsy took my camera and she started videotaping herself, and then we had some issues on the road. So here I am, a little bit late, but I feel I still needed to tell you what my purpose was in having this channel. First, let me tell you that I know nothing about technology. My sister, Melody, helped me set up this channel, and I'm still very frustrated over it. I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to add music. And so here we have sort of just a hardcore, plain video of me and telling you what my purpose is. I've always been very goal-oriented and had always intended on doing, well, I always did traveling in my 20s, and somehow that was easy. I have still my 78 red convertible Volkswagen, piled 5 people in there, and went from Ohio to the Keys without a plan. I think we talked about it one day. We jumped in the car and we were gone for a week or two after that. Of course, now as you get a little bit older, all of a sudden you start to decide that you have to have a plan. I guess you sort of know everything that can go wrong, so you're a little bit more nervous. I'm also a little bit older. I see that Gypsy sort of mentioned that, even though she's older than I. And so, yeah, I guess I started to look on this YouTube, and the people that I noticed that were doing it, a lot of them, whether you're young guys that know how to fix cars, or couples that are web savvy, and that's how they're making their living on the road. And so here's me. Okay, I can't change a tire. I don't even change my oil. I don't know anything about computers. I can text. I've been a physical therapist for years, and so this is kind of a big challenge. I guess the first thing I realized was that I was going to need to decide on the type of RV that I wanted. That's a whole topic in itself. You'll see a lot of different people on YouTube telling you why they have one over the other. We did have a Class A. I have 9 children. I adopted 6 of them. And so we've done the Class A where we took them all down to the Keys. And that was a total blast. However, I did run the Class A into a gas thing. It was a little bit of an accident. We won't go into it. So I knew that I wasn't going to go there. I wanted something that I could drive by myself without killing somebody. And I was really open to the Class B, Class C thing. I sort of liked that rear entry door. And so I knew that the American Cruiser and the Chinook were two that did it at the time. But honestly, I was really just sort of looking to see what was in my budget. I wanted something under 30,000. I wanted something low miles, and it probably took me 2 years. My name is Virtue, so patience is a virtue, and I did wait. I did say that I wanted it by a certain time frame, and God blessed me, and I found it. So I recently purchased it in July. Then my next goal was by next year to be able to do some traveling for a couple of months. And so it was just kind of like, well, what do I do to prepare for that? So all the other YouTube videos that I was seeing were sort of either they've been on the road for a long time, or they were really methodical about coming up with a list of things to take with them. And I just wasn't one of those people. So I buy this American Cruiser. Her name is Gypsy. She's quite a little personality. And I found myself needing to go to Ohio. So I went to Gainesville first, which from Naples, which is where I live now, is about a 5-hour drive, 4.5 hours. And then I realized I didn't have any roadside service. Fortunately for me, on that day, I did get, I'm with AAA. I happened to get AAA. And my fear was always, if I'm driving this RV on the road, and what happens if I get a flat? Well, just the very thing I could never imagine what happened to me did, where my left back tire just fell off. The whole thing fell off. Gypsy tilted. We got off the road, and of course it's the middle of the night. It's outside of Columbia, South Carolina, and there I am by myself. Well, one thing I can tell you that's a good idea to take is a little dog. Believe it or not, I had 2 dogs. I had one Casper that just passed away. But I have a Chihuahua named Pedro who is from a puppy mill and doesn't like people a lot. And so while I'm waiting for AAA, there were a couple of people that stopped by, and Pedro let himself be known, and I have to tell you that kind of had some people back off. So that was really great. I was also happy that I got this roadside assistance. It was literally like at the last minute. So that was a good thing. However, while I was sitting there waiting, I remember thinking, well, I don't carry guns because I'd probably shoot myself, and there's all kinds of rules about crossing state lines, but I probably could have used either some bear spray or something like that to help me. I certainly had just crackers, so I thought, you know, next time maybe I should have a little bit more something to eat. I did have my cell phone. I had all my things charged up, so I do have a generator in my RV, but for those of you that don't, I would always, like my kids will tell me their phone died. I don't get that. I always keep my phones charged. My iPad was charged. I had a GPS. So I had those kinds of things. I did spend a night at a Dodge dealership, which was actually pretty cozy. And I had my 2 dogs and my bird, Jimmy Buffett, with me. And but here was another thing I never thought of. My American Cruiser, they stopped making them in 2001. Mine's a 2000. Suddenly became a big issue about getting parts because it's so old. So that's something I'll have to think about as I decide to travel, that if I do break down, I may not necessarily be able to get my parts. Actually, on the way back from Ohio, the motor to my window, I guess, went, and they didn't have it up in Ohio, so we shimmied it up part of the way. And now that I'm back in Naples, she's at the shop, and hopefully they're finding a motor that's going to fix that window. So I guess pieces and parts, if you have a very old RV, could be an issue for you. I feel like the very worst thing has already happened to me. I mean, honestly, my tire falling off in the middle of the night on a road where there's really no lights, that's pretty scary when you're a girl and you're like by yourself with a couple of dogs. God forbid, I'm sure something else could happen. But anyway, the purpose of this channel for me is going to be for other people that don't think they can do it because they have all kinds of other obligations. They're an older woman, they're an older guy, they've got jobs, whatever, that it's just a dream. I can tell you that I always tell my kids the difference between a dream and a goal is a plan. And these plans, for those younger people, it starts when you're very young. My parents instilled that in me, and so not only did I have an adventurous spirit when I was in my 20s, but it wasn't really necessarily shelved too much because I did go to Romania several times. I actually spent some time with gypsies up there, but you never want to lose that part of you. But I can tell you that I ran a business. I raised 9 children, 6 I adopted. I have done so many things. I've always been so busy, but I literally have a calendar, and on the calendar I have a date, and on that date, no matter what's happening, I'm moving. I'm on the road. I know that I can't do it for a year, but my plan is to do it for a couple of months. Any of you that have done this, I would love to hear from you. Please comment and give me your suggestions. Obviously, I'm pretty ill prepared, both with my Gypsy RV as well as technology. Anything you guys can help me. I know that I'm going to want to be able to get internet, and I do have one of those jetpacks through Verizon that, because I've had it a while, I have it on hold or whatever they call it, and when I go back on the road, I can call them and they will kick it on, and so I will have it. But I also am learning. I know that for those of you that are like tech savvy are going to think I'm stupid, but while I was sleeping overnight at the Dodge dealership, I discovered that I could hook into their Wi-Fi. I know, who knew? I did it with McDonald's when I went to McDonald's, and so this is like a whole new world for me, that I can hook into other people's Wi-Fis, and that saved me some data. I feel very, very naive to this. I feel like a beginner, so please don't criticize both my video, my lack of knowledge, my everything, because I know that there's a lot of people like me out there. I've had women say to me, wow, that's like so cool that you're going to do that. you know, I just don't think that you're ever too old to start something new. I don't think that you're ever too rich or too poor to try something that's out of your comfort zone. There's a real sense of accomplishment when you do that. I hope that you join me through this next almost year, and hopefully not too many more fiascos getting there. My hope is to go out west. I have my eyes on either, there's a place called Best Friends in Kebab, Utah. There's an Indian reservation in South Dakota. And there's a horse rescue place outside of Las Vegas. So these are all, obviously, all kind of surrounding around animals. But if any of you have gone out there and know of some really cool places to go to, if I could go longer than 2 months, I might push it. But anything you guys can do to help my trip be more exciting or more whatever, I'm open to it. I have absolutely nothing etched in stone, and I think that that's a part of the fun of planning this, is just sort of going with it. Any of you that have a dream to do something outside of your box, whether it's traveling, whether it's in an RV, or whether it's going to Europe, plan now. You need to have a plan. Get yourself a calendar, put it on the calendar, pick a date, even if it's a couple years down the road, and do it. I personally enjoy the journey getting there, sometimes almost as much as the journey itself. It's like when it was your birthday. You can't wait for your birthday to come, and sometimes just waiting for the birthday is almost more exciting than on your birthday. So this is Virtue. I hope that you will subscribe to me. You'll give me a thumbs up. You'll share me with your friends, and please comment. I am dying to hear what you have to say. I am so new at this. I'm very excited, but again, especially after the last few things that have happened to me, I'm a little bit nervous. All right, see you guys.